All right, so we're gonna get into Aries. What do you beautiful, fiery BB Aries need to know or hear for the month of March? Ooh, I pulled 2 cards. Actually, you know what? I'm feeling the full 3. So we're gonna do, we have abundance, fire, and seek. So for the month of March, for Aries signs, sun, moon, rising, it's going to be really important that you actually, you know what I'm hearing? Hold on one second. No, yes, sun, moon, and rising. Abundance is like the theme. What they're saying is that this is what's underneath the soil. This is what's begun to germinate. This is what's begun to grow, begun to take shape. It's had that direction. So now it's up to you to give it the direction. So whatever it is that you have been hoping for, working towards, you know, i.e. goal, dream, desire, you know, whatever intentions you've set, whether it be professionally, personally, they're saying that right now it's time for you to create that path. So they're also showing, so like the seed, right? Like the pod of the seed where it's begun to burst and like we start to see the plant like beginning to like reach up to the soil. But it's up to you to dig or carve out that path. They're showing like a little ant, you being the ant, going in within the soil and like burrowing and creating channels and creating pathways. So that way that beautiful little sprout, that leaf, can like come up and break through the soil. And so the question isn't, when will this happen? The question you have to ask yourself is, what can I do to support this coming further? And to not limit yourselves or confine yourselves into one, like it needs to just be this one way. Let's seek alternative routes, paths that can, you know, bring you what it is that you desire. And you know, again, like this involves anything. It's just whatever it is that abundance means to you, that you have been desiring, that you've been wanting to create, to call in, to see more of. Even if you've already experiencing it and you want, like in your mind, you're thinking, well, how can I keep this? How can I cultivate more? It's up to you. It's up to you to get involved. And the other thing too is that they're saying beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So if you are also finding yourself kind of like, well, shit, like I don't see what I'm wanting. I don't see what I've been calling in. I don't see what I've been asking, desiring in my life. Have you really looked, or are you really fixated on keeping it in this one way, shape, or form, and expectation? Let's take a look at like where we can kind of zoom out of focus so that we can observe what is present. And like, this isn't just like having the attitude of gratitude, right? This is showing up for yourself, showing up to witness your own accomplishments, to witness your own beauty, and like remind yourself to like get back in the body and not be so focused on like do. Yes, they're talking about, hey, let's think of action, like, or let's think of like different alternate routes to get there. But that doesn't mean that you're so focused on just like more, because when are you going to enjoy it, right? All right, my loves. So now we're going to go into Taurus. I'm just going to give this a good little shuffle. Right when I said in my brain, what do Tauruses need to hear for the month of March? We have one more card. Oh, actually there's one more. So we have 4. We have connection, boundaries, pleasure, and time. All right, my loves. So it's going to be really important for Tauruses that the month of March, you pay attention to where you're placing your energy. Okay, like not just with like people, right? But like with people, places, and things. Okay, there needs to be not a reevaluation or readjusting, reconfiguring of current boundaries that you have. It's just witnessing the boundaries you have set in place and how you are following them. There's this, give me one moment. Pay attention to who, what, people, place, thing you are focusing on, that you are holding on to. Because they're saying like the word that they're using is constraint. And so there's this concern that we can kind of step over the boundaries we've set in place for ourselves, i.e. our needs and desires and wants, for the hope of holding on to or reaching pleasure, what is that we're desiring. Like there's this feeling of fear, like anxiety of, if I don't do this, if I don't say yes to this thing, if I don't say no to that thing, if I don't add more to my plate or spend time, do whatever this person wants of me, or whatever it may be, even of ourselves, right? We may have like a mile-long to-do list or list of expectations of, I need to do all of this to get all of this done, because that's how I measure my level of success or productivity. And let me add there that, hey, I'm guilty of that. Like, or I don't want to say guilty, because I think it's important that we pay attention to the words that we use, because words are spells. I also find myself in that narrative, and it's easier said than done to be like, boop, I'm not going to listen to that. So I don't want to create or instill any kind of pressure or shame or self-criticism there of what they're saying, but we want to be sure that, there's a difference with showing up for others when we do have the bandwidth, showing up for the tasks that we know that need to get done when we have the space to do so, versus just like grinding ourselves, like just go and saying yes or no to the thing when we know that it is in contraction to where we are energetically, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And so March, for you Taurus, try not to worry about losing someone, losing an opportunity. If you're feeling as though there has been like a misconnection, or like almost like a sense of like drifting apart from yourself or another individual, give it time. It's your feelings are valid. However, what you might be feeling, or what you may be feeling at this time, is partially due to how you have been moving with or against your boundaries. Specifically, again, like how you are exchanging your time with a person, place, or thing. I hope that makes sense. And the other thing that I want to add here, that they're saying, it's like, this month may feel a bit like just sludgy. It almost, like what they're showing right now is like a car, like a windshield, and it's just dirty, and we don't have any like windshield fluid to like wipe the windshield off, to clean it off. That's what this month may feel like. And so rather than moving in fear or haste or worry that like, shit, I don't have the windshield fluid, or like I can't see, trust where you are, trust your feelings, even though they may be uncomfortable and they may be unpleasant. Just try your best to give yourself space. And if you're questioning like, shoot, am I going to lose this person, place, or thing? Then pause, drop in with your feelings. Why am I feeling this way? Or what am I feeling? Why? What does this remind me of? Where's this coming from? Where do I feel it? How does my body respond? We do a little bit of digging so that we can, learn what perhaps is actually taking place, right? We want to be mindful of like, we want to respond versus react. All right, my loves. Now let's go into Geminis. Gemini. What do y'all need to hear for March? One more. Okay. So we have caution, let it go, childhood, and time. So for the month of March, what's coming up is like, they're saying, don't be haste to cut. Like they're saying, don't be hasteful to like cut or release or feel like there's this energy in the body that it almost feels like just like under like a pressure cooker, like, or depending on where you live, like here in California, folks say like, oh, it's earthquake weather, right? Like there's this static, there's this energy in the air where it just feels different. And the same thing, like if you're in the Midwest or somewhere where there's tornadoes. I've never been there in a place where there's a tornado, but I have family members who have, and they describe how the energy feels similar to like the earthquake weather. But there's like the sense of excitable pressure built in the body. And so again, for you, Gemini, it's going to be important that you are really present and grounded with your mental bodies, okay? That when we are feeling our emotions elevate, when we are feeling contraction or even excitement, before we take action, we take a moment to pause and really think about, is this really what I want? Does this really bring me joy? Is this a response or a reaction? And where, because sometimes we can get so excited about something like, and it's not necessarily FOMO, right? It's just like we take a leap without like really thinking, is this what I want to do, right? Like, is this something that I want to do for myself? Or is this something that I want to do to help this person, even though it's not in alignment or in flow with where I am right now? That doesn't mean that you can't do the thing or date the person or whatever it may be. It just means in this moment, it might not be the most supportive time or aligned with where I'm at in my needs now, right? And so to make it really simple is be mindful of how quick you are to take action, and be mindful of how quickly you choose to respond or react to an emotion, whether it be frustration or excitement. We want to be sure that it's placed and rooted in joy. And if you find yourself like, crap, like I don't know what to do in this situation, I feel anxious, I feel like it's not going to happen, I feel like we feel a sense of pressure or fear that what it is that we are hoping for or whatever this may pertain to is going to pass us by, we're going to disappoint someone, it's never going to happen. That's not true. I get it. Like it's an annoying thing to hear, and I almost feel annoyed with myself to say this, but it's like what is meant to be yours will be yours at some point or another, in some way or some way or form. If we find ourselves feeling anxious or anxious, whether it be rooted in fear or excitement, let's take the time to learn like what is the why behind that before we respond. Because there is this possibility where we can either be really quick with the tongue, whether that be like snapping at someone or signing a contract before even like doing the work of being sure that it is what we desire. It makes me think of like just making sure your freaking checklist is all checked off, right? Like if it's a contract with work or a collaboration or opportunity of any kind, make sure you check everything off. Don't settle for less if it's not in alignment with what you truly need and what would be supportive for you, because there's possibility to get burned is what they're saying. Alrighty.